Thanks, Phoenix. Welcome to all of you. It's good to see you here, all 50 of you. I'm curious about how many of you are membership chairs, and I wonder if you could just raise your hand if you're a membership chair in your club. I see a few of you. Any others? There's a whole bunch of you that don't have your faces showing. Okay, thank you. Welcome, particularly welcome to have you here, but everybody's welcome, governors, regular Rotarians. I sent out Tracey's bio with this link, so you can read that at your leisure. We'll also send out her contact information for you so that you can be in touch with her. I've asked her husband, Vince, who's her right-hand man and been with her throughout her journey as a governor, to introduce her in a thumbnail. And what I wanted him to tell you is, from his experience and listening to her a number of times now and being very supportive of her, just give us a quick sense of what Tracey's main focus or foci have been this year as governor in your district. And Tracey's district is Northern Alberta, up into where she's from, Grande Prairie, as you know. So Vince, if you could do that, we'll get the show on the road.
Thank you, Dennis, and thank you all for inviting us tonight. I'm going to do something really, really different. Same thing, I caught Tracey off guard at when we did the district conference in October, is I started with a story, and I think this is quite relevant. So I don't know how many of you have ever been to Machu Picchu in South America, but years ago, we decided to take a journey, and this was on my wife's bucket list. And we, instead of doing what 99.99% of all tourists do, you fly to Cusco in South America and Peru, and then you take the train and you go visit the Machu Picchu site. Not my wife. She decided she wanted to hike it. It's probably one of the most hardest, grueling treks that you could ever do in your life. And we were more than double the age of most of the other people that did the trek. So one thing, we did all the preparations, just like governors do for their journey. We did all the preparations, we did the training and so on. And halfway through the trek, we got to a place. Now I'm gonna back it up. Every one of you right now are sitting at about 1,000 to 1,500 feet above sea level, right? So just picture that. So on day 2, which was halfway through the trek, we reached a place called Dead Woman's Pass, which was close to 14,000 feet above sea level. Now we had the altitude sickness pills and everything else, but what we weren't prepared for in the middle of the night was Tracey not only waking up with altitude sickness, but then there was a stomach parasite that followed. So for the last part of the journey, she couldn't keep any food in her, down, anything. She survived on little bits of water. And we finally reached our site, because once you're there, you cannot be taken off the mountain. There is no helicopter that's going to come and get you. You can't turn back. You only have one choice. You have to go forward. So why am I saying this? And that is because of the journey that we've also had as district governor. Tracey never once complained, even with all the pain and the endurance and everything that she did. I ended up carrying her 50-pound backpack or whatever, but at the end of the journey, I realized it was her that carried me. It was really, really heartwarming and so on. It was an incredible accomplishment. So, relation to Rotary. None of us were prepared for a pandemic. We had no pills, no medication or whatever for the pandemic. And even though Rotary goes and prepares you and you take the courses and everything else, you don't know what's going to come at you, but if you've made a commitment, and you have to shoulder on. So she never once thought about, oh, look at me, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, or whatever.
Have we frozen up, or is it my imagination?
was for the clubs. It was never once about herself. She didn't talk to clubs.
Tracey, we're losing Vince here. I hope you're not going to lose you.
Tools and training and the energy and so on for clubs to be engaged, to be inspired. And she didn't believe in growing Rotary members. She believed in growing Rotarians. There's a big, big difference in the commitment level. So, you know, when I think about the journey that we had and the journey that we're still going through and all the things that come with the territory, all Rotarians have a journey. And, you know, I look at Tracey, and she had no idea what I was going to say tonight. She had no idea back then either. But the fact was that she really, really cares. And the bottom line was that it was about kindness. And I'll never forget, I'll leave with one point. When we were going through the journey with Machu Picchu, we came across a young lady who had severe altitude sickness. And Tracey, even though she was suffering and she was going through what she had, insisted that our entire team stop to make sure that we helped this young lady, even though this young lady had all kinds of assistants and team members or whatever. So, you know, earlier on, I was telling Dennis and Phoenix that our Rotary car is named Amelia Kindheart. And you all know the story about Amelia Earhart. Well, we had Amelia Kindheart because of the journey that we had. And Tracey really, really lived that. And the whole part about the journey was spreading kindness, spreading care. And as a result of that, it was about shifting the dial through peace and kindness and care, and the true focus on others. So, you know, I guess in respect of time, I guess that's how I can really, really sum up my wife, is that she really, really, truly does care about people in the Rotary family. And again, this is an absolute honor. And I'm going to do something now that every wife dreams about. I'm going to disappear.
Well, thank you, darling. Sometimes secrets do leave home, and there was a secret that left home, and my darling husband shared with you. And it's an honor to be able to, though, tonight, to come on and share with you more tonight around Rotary. So first off, Dennis, Phoenix, I thank you. Thank you for this invitation. Thank you for the opportunity to come and meet all of you in your beautiful communities. As you heard from Dennis this evening, I'm in Northern Alberta. My home is Grande Prairie, and I'm governor for 5370, which is 3 provinces and 2 territories, partially BC, partially Saskatchewan, and into the territories. I'm just going to share my screen now, and so we'll get started here. All right, so, okay. So, hey, together is better. You know, when Dennis contacted me and suggested under my role as an innovative club advocate that I come together with you tonight to share, what continues to come back to me as I think about innovation and opportunities is we are truly stronger when we are together, and we are truly better when we're together. And tonight I'm excited to share with you some innovative opportunities and some opportunities for you as Rotarians to grow and develop, and for you to take to your clubs, membership chairs or president-elects, current presidents, etc. And Brad, thank you. Thank you as well for being a colleague, for being a cheerleader this past year, for the opportunity to share with you and lead with you. And I'm honored that we've had this journey together. And I appreciate you as well for the opportunity to come and be part of your team tonight. So leading, as Vince mentioned and others have mentioned, leading this past year, you know, honestly, I never expected to be this opportunity to be a leader and then to come, whoops, sorry, I see I'm a little unstable. Is my email, or is my Wi-Fi okay, Dennis, there? Doing okay? Good, okay, good. So leading this past year, never expected to be maneuvering through a pandemic. You know, as we prepared in our training, and I think both Dennis and Rod, you were part of my leading team and helped me to become the governor I am today, but never imagined what I would be facing. Now, COVID-19 has changed every part of your life, my life, including our Rotary world. And I will say to you, my heart is so grateful. I'm filled with gratitude for the amazing stories that I'm hearing of care and how our Rotarians and our Rotary family are reaching out to support each other and all of our communities. And I can say that Rotarians are needed more than ever right now. So as everyone's exploring options, we know the importance of serving today, but we also know the importance how Rotarians will help to rebuild and reconnect our communities. But I can share with you that COVID has not changed our values. We will see changes coming forward, but I do know that as we go through this journey, our values will always be maintained. The current pandemic provides each of us with the opportunity to look at a stronger sense, of social cohesion. Now, we've seen many clubs, as we're doing tonight, you shifted to online learning and online training, and we're using online platforms for clubs to meet. And we're also exploring what we're going to do at the end of this journey. Are we going to continue online? Well, I know there's many questions being asked, and questions like, will we continue to meet regularly for a meal? I know I'm hearing that from clubs right now. Or are we going to meet once a month for a meal and then focus on service projects for the rest of the month? Other questions I'm hearing from clubs as we continue to maneuver through this pandemic is, will we continue to meet online as it's working? Maybe we should be an online club. And it provides a place for everyone to be able to access and come together, as we have over 50 people tonight doing. And it ensures that our costs are less because we're not paying for meals. And as we prepare to move forward with planning, I say to each of you, be reminded that right now we are reshaping Rotary, and Rotary is being reshaped as a result of the pandemic. Whoops. We see many creative and innovative ways to do good and support communities, even though we're not able to gather face to face. We have clubs and members that are writing and delivering thank you cards for medical professionals and first responders, for service employees, and they're offering gift cards for the grocery store employees, etc. They're caring for those that are putting their lives at risk for us. We're seeing online Rotary Food Bank donation drives. Rotarians are supporting young students who would normally receive their only hot meal at school, and they cannot act because those children cannot access fresh food or hot food right now. And we're seeing individuals delivering groceries and supplies for those who cannot get out, doing laundry for seniors, and so much more. We're seeing online sewing gatherings happening via virtual platforms so they can sew masks, and also as well, we're seeing additional supplies being made for Days for Girls and other international projects. And I have one group right now that I can share with you, a brand new Rotaract club that's planning and preparing for their community cleanup as soon as the restrictions allow. We're also seeing some clubs, though, they're not engaged. They're not engaged in service, they're not engaged in meeting. And you and I have a responsibility. Our responsibility is to prod them and to engage them in discussions on how to explore opportunities and how to stay connected. These are our members. These are our people. We cannot let these clubs and these members go dark. So through Rotary and our service commitment, we create bonds with our communities and with each other. When people feel they belong, they're healthier mentally and physically. Crime rates in communities drop. We are stronger employees, and so much more. We also build strong friendships and alliance when we volunteer together. When someone volunteers, their sense of belonging increases. Service enhances all of our communities and all of our lives in every area. But we know this isn't new to us as Rotarians. But what is new to us is experience this pandemic. What's new to us is looking at innovative opportunities to go forward. And with the online meeting platforms and connecting through various options, we are seeing higher meeting attendance. We're seeing higher use of online systems to get to know each other's, to have clubs and members are coming together for social events of playing games and activities. There's one club that I know is doing a scavenger hunt tomorrow night. I'd like to be part of that. We're also using these platforms to dive deeper into discussions on specific topics. As well, we have the capacity to have speakers join us from anywhere in the world. We also know that potential members are finding it easier to attend a meeting, and they have less trepidation to attend their first meeting by coming online at an equal platform. I have participated in some very unique online introductions, and it's been very exciting. And I have to share, I'm preparing tomorrow to charter our newest Rotary Club online. So I talk about this because it's a venue to start to move from and pivot from. We are connecting at a higher rate as Rotarian, and we are also connecting more to community needs. The Rotary brand is trusted and valued, and we are built on caring, passionate people who desire to serve. And our communities and organizations trust us that we will deliver in our promises. We are also sought out and recognized for our commitment on the 4-way test. Well, our reshaping has been happening for a period of time, and now it's front and center with us. We are reshaping Rotary, we are reshaping our systems, but we are not changing our values. We are continuing to honor our history and the founders of Rotary and the founders of each of our clubs. We're now in the space of change to fit the needs of our members. Our members are our clients. Our members are our communities. Our members are clients, and I remind you to think about who your client is. One saying that I'm not hearing as frequently now is, we've always done it this way. Instead, as we're exploring new ways and new opportunities, we're shifting from that regular face-to-face meal meeting to connecting based on what we desire. It's either now through a speaker, a game, service, but right now we're not meeting over a meal. That's unique and that's different, especially for the Rotary history. One concern that I had when the pandemic hit as governor, that many people losing their jobs and their employment changes, that many would be leaving Rotary due to the financial restraints, or that maybe due to time or uncertain concerns with dealing with and working through online platforms. Well, I have to share, we're seeing the opposite through Rotary right now. Attendance is higher, and past members are accepting invites to join in for a call or for a Zoom meeting and are coming back to Rotary. They don't have the meal costs, and the dues are working for them. We're also seeing that members are feeling valued and are wanting innovative ways to serve and to maintain a strong sense of belonging with their fellow Rotarians. Because as I mentioned at the onset, we are a Rotary family. I had one member from an Atlantic district said to me, a meal is not the reason for Rotary. And I said, yes, but it's still okay to meet for a meal. He said, but it's still not the reason for Rotary. No, it isn't, but it is an opportunity to collect. But I ask you to lean in and learn more about the interests of your people, of your members, of your club, of your clients, of your community. Lean in now. Now is the time to be asking questions. And Rotary, as we know, has provided us with the opportunities and the resources to have flexible meetings, to have flexible platforms. Prior, we had boxes. Now our boxes are very broad. We have great opportunities with our flexibility. So I say to you, be bold. Get into some bold discussions. And remember, we are flexible. We are also nimble, as we can see we're doing it now. And this is our opportunity to be responsive to our clients' needs. This is our time to explore what is working and what can be changed. is your meeting structure working? In your meeting structure, is there a desire to continue to sing O Canada or to have an invocation? Have you engaged in discussions on inclusion and diversity, and are you welcoming to all? And let's talk about a little bit more about being focused for our client and our clients as number one. Have you taken time to ask your members, are they satisfied? Is there anything that they would like to see changed from time, cost, service focused? Are you okay with members leaving to start a new club that meets the needs of them? I say to you, bold discussions and ask, ask, ask. We know we have opportunities for different models, and Rotary International has provided us with great opportunities that give us the most flexibility possible from all aspects, from our traditional clubs to e-clubs, our Rotaract, but also our satellite clubs. And I know you're familiar with the satellite base. And are you sharing that option and having further discussions around ways that you can connect through your district and invite others to be a part of a satellite club where they can focus on service? Have you explored what is cause-focused clubs, where a club focuses directly on a specific topic, like maybe environmental challenges or diversity and inclusion? Or are there groups of young leaders who are demonstrating their commitment to youth and to empowering our young people? We have the opportunity to develop cause-focused clubs under any of these umbrellas. And that opportunity is there for us to explore, and as we are right now, we're in the reshaping. Are there interest groups or places of business that a club can be established? Because as we know, the classification requirements are gone. We also know our young people's lives have been turned upside down as much as ours. We have heard our Rotaractors desire to teach and mentor, and I am so honored to see Phoenix leading tonight. Phoenix, thank you for what you're doing. We know that our Rotaractors are asking for ways to work together and increase their service impact. So this is our time to not forget them and to invite them to join us for a game online or to consider a club opportunity and to serve side by side. We're also seeing our youth alumni spread out across our districts now. We know that our young people have moved for education, for employment, for other opportunities. So how about exploring how we can engage these young people who have already been touched by Rotary with an online satellite club that works for them, that's available for them? It's a great way for us to reach out and ask them what would work for you. So let's get in contact with them and see what we can do to create an opportunity where they're still part of our Rotary family. And remember, we don't have our walls and our boxes, so we have great opportunity to be flexible. Just also want to say, as a mom of 4 as well, when we see a young leader that sees an issue or a focus or a cause, I know I need to hang on. So hang on when they get going, and let's join them, as we know they'll conquer any issues. So why would we do this? Why would we explore other options and look at innovative ways that we can either invite members to be part of our clubs or ways that we can help them be Rotarians by developing a club that works for them? Well, because the Rotary is needed. There is not more of an urgent time now than through this pandemic that the world does not need more Rotarians. The world, pardon me, does need more Rotarians. Rotary is needed by everyone. And we know that your community, my community, all the communities that are served by Rotarians are going to need more Rotarians as we shift through this pandemic, as we shift through and work through the impacts. Well, my personal and my professional history is community capacity building. And I can share that I know and feel that the needs are going to increase as we continue to venture through and move to recovery and rebuilding. Our communities need us, and our communities need us to help them rebuild. So let's stay connected and invite our members, our family, our friends, our past Rotarians and our communities to serve with us, because it is, again, so important. And remind ourselves as well that Rotarians are trusted and we're very much respected. We're respected for our work, we're respected for our values, and we've earned this trust. I also say to each of you, we also need each other. We're a Rotary family. And as the shift of moving through COVID happens, we will continue to find creative ways to serve, and we may not be meeting as we have prior. But I guarantee you, we'll be shifting to serve as best possible, because that's what we do as Rotarians. We'll need to support this shift and ensure there's a safe place for our clubs to exchange ideas and not face, no, we cannot do it this way because we've always done it that way. This is an essential piece of reshaping Rotary. So as you go forward, Vince mentioned kindness. Well, I ask each of you to continue to share kindness and care for yourselves and for others. Our service is more important today. Not only is it self-fulfillment, connections, fellowship, and impact, but it's also the opportunity for family as we are. So if you see a club sitting on the sideline, or if that's your club, engage them. Have the discussion on exploring opportunities, because the opportunities today are endless. And as we move forward, we are reshaping Rotary. So, and have fun while you're doing so. So I'd love to open it up now for some discussions and some conversations around things that you're experiencing, or some questions that you may have too as well. Because this is our opportunity to share and explore. So I'm just going to turn off, and if I can, Phoenix, I was going to turn off my sharing of my screen, but I seem to have lost it. Oh, there we go. Awesome. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
So if anyone has any questions, just a reminder to please put them in the chat. We are asking that you stay muted, but if your question is a bit more complicated, definitely let us know. So Carol just has a note. Tracey, I don't know if you've heard from Dr. Bonnie Henry in our province, but our chief medical officer often says, be kind, be calm, and be safe.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that.
So Christy has a question. She would like you to say a bit more about the scavenger hunt idea. She thinks.
So this is the Rotary Club of Whitecourt, and what they're doing is they have sent out a list to their members in advance in celebration of their event or their evening gathering tomorrow night. And they've asked everyone to find all these neat pieces within their home. Has to be within their home. They can't go out and ask from others. And they're to come back tomorrow night and to show off all the good pieces that they collected over the last few days and share through a fellowship event as we are this evening. And so it's a great way to involve your family, to involve other members, and to be able to also share a little piece of you on a personal level. Because one of the things that's allowing for us to do by working online like this is you get a chance to see people's homes. And so when you get a chance to see people's homes, you learn a little bit more about them. And we develop a stronger relationship, and we also develop stronger, understanding of who they are and what they come from. And when Vince shared the story tonight around the story of Machu Picchu, that was really an adventure for me. And that was my goal. My goal was for my 50th, was to trek Machu Picchu. Never expected to get sick as I did. But I wasn't going to quit because this was my goal. This is what I wanted. And, that opportunity to share that experience with my husband, even though we had a challenge of I was very, very sick. But I was dedicated because it was my goal. I knew I could do it. And I absolutely knew that it was important for me to be able to be successful and to drive forward and meet what I intended to do. And, as he mentioned, this pandemic has been similar. And it's allowed for all myself, and I know for many others, for our strengths to continue to grow and to evolve as a result. Now I'm going to show you my home. I've taken off my club, my background, so you can see also my home where I am today.
Wonderful, thank you. So Brad has a question. He's saying that some clubs have had difficulty getting members to join their Zoom meetings. Only about 25% join. So what are your thoughts on getting a better turnout?
Good question, Brad. The magic potion of what I can share with you of what we are doing, and I'm seeing many clubs doing, is they're reaching out with a direct phone call. It is very easy to pull up our cell phones. We can pull up our cell phone, use our cell phone to connect with someone. It's quick to send a text or an email. Having that human contact creates a sense of trust, and that and that opportunity for that person that you're connecting with to invite them to understand how important they are. And there are members that are concerned about online. We've had the scare of, is Zoom secure? We've had other scares that have happened. And so by letting them know we're doing the research, we're looking at to make sure you'll be safe online, giving them that comfort, letting them know they're important and that you are looking at their welfare and the welfare of the club. And so as a result, as I say, it's been exciting, really exciting to see the amount of people coming on. I have a club that was quite concerned around their membership, if their members would be able to come on board and be online, quite a seniors population, and they were concerned. They are right now running at 75%. I got an email from the president to say, oh my gosh, 75%.
That's wonderful. Awesome. Okay. Dennis is saying that the economy in Alberta has been suffering for some time. So how has this situation impacted your district?
So what I can share with you is that we, at the start of the year, we had 2 clubs join us from the Yukon. And so our numbers increased at the start of the year. And then it came and started to bottom out because of the economy. We saw communities like Fort McMurray, where 25% of the population didn't return back to Fort McMurray following the fires, and then we saw an immense amount of economic challenges and businesses closing. So that's a community, for an example, where we started to see numbers consistently go down. Grande Prairie, another community, we're oil and gas based, and so another community where we started to see some of our numbers drop. What I can share with you is, as those numbers dropped, what we've worked to do is to continue to network and let our people know how important they were. So as governor, I would try and connect with people. I'd ask the presidents. I had our district team that was reaching out, letting people know they were important and that we needed them. Right now, we're inviting them back, and we're seeing people rejoin Rotary right now. Part of it is cost, that right now we don't have our meal costs. We just have our district and our RA dues, which are very minimal. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is, by meeting online, it's easy. So people are connecting very quickly, and they're able to meet in a very easy manner that works really well for them. So it's a lot of care, it's a lot of kindness, and it's a lot of flexibility. Now, one of the things that we're in the midst of doing right now is we are chartering a new satellite online club. And this satellite club is built of Rotarians and past Rotarians throughout the district. Now, these members are individuals that are housed from, some live in southern by Edmonton, some are in northern the Yukon, some are in out in this area where we are now. But what I can share with you is that they're saying, we want to come back. We want to come back to Rotary. And what the intent is they're going to meet online once a month. And recognizing Rotary has given us that flexibility that we can adjust with when we meet. We only, Rotary International says they'd like us to meet twice a month. One can be a regular meeting and the other is service. So this online satellite club is saying, we're going to move from community to community throughout the month and get involved with clubs within our community and do our great service projects. But the connection, they're meeting online right now. They haven't chartered yet. We have 31 people right now that are meeting on a regular basis, and they're saying, this is what I need. This is important to me. This is an innovative opportunity, and it allows for me to be with my family, my Rotary family, and still be able to give back and recognize my dues are less than what I had for a meal. So it's being flexible, being nimble. But when I said earlier about ask, 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 it's really important for us not to be shaded in our box. Many a times we will come with our judgment, our perception, or with our tradition. I say get rid of the boxes. Leave those aside, boxes go away, and come back with what works for me as a client, what works for you as a client, and develop based on how that person or that interest will be able to be fulfilled. And that's what I mentioned earlier around a cause, looking at a cause club. And we're seeing that happen quite a bit throughout our Rotary International world, coming together for a cause and a purpose.
Wonderful, thank you. So we've actually got a number of questions, so I will just fire them at you.
Please do.
So are there any examples that you're aware of where successful clubs meet on an alternating virtual or live format?
Yes. So we are seeing, I've seen some examples within our district where we have got clubs that are meeting online right now once a week, and then they're also doing service the second week, and they come back online the third week. And they're rotating back and forth. And what it's doing is allowing for more fellowship with their service. So they're meeting with the online platform, they're doing their business aspect, they're dealing with the business component, and then they're coming together face-to-face, separate from COVID, but coming together face-to-face, and they're connecting through fellowship and service in that capacity. So it's working, and what's really great about it is there's flexibility. They can create whatever they're looking for with that.
Excellent. And then I do want to address, so Jim, I did see your question or your post about the car rally. I'm going to leave that till the end so that if anyone wants to hear about your car rally, you can share it at the end. So Chris was curious about your home club and attracting new members. What has worked well?
We just welcomed 2 new members to our club tonight, actually, earlier this evening. Again, we're online. We are meeting weekly. We are bringing in speakers right now. Our club has been, prior to COVID, we met in a nice little restaurant upstairs in a nice venue. Our costs have been very minimal, just very minimal on the meal and our fees. And we've been very organic in our work. We've stayed strongly connected as a club where we will come to our meetings, do our meetings and our work, but we will also as well stay and play cards afterwards, or we'll go for walks. We've also done where instead of a meeting, where we've done a community cleanup. Everyone just grabbed their families and done a community cleanup, and it's been tremendous. And so our club has been very nimble, and we've shifted away from a lot of the tradition. Now, we still are very, very patriotic, and we still do our O Canada. We don't do an invocation. And we also, when we do our introductions and welcoming of guests, it's very fun, and we ask people to share and talk about the personal part of the guest that's there with them. So we don't have a lot of the older, I'm going to say, customs. We have very relaxed, and we've also made a point to be very welcoming. We don't sit behind it like an area. We welcome people. Everyone gets a hug from me. And now those that know you, those that know me that are on today know everyone gets a heart-to-heart hug from me, other than when in COVID. But we are very, very much, as I say, at a grounded level. And so as a result, it's a different mindset than the other clubs in our community. We have 4 Rotary clubs, a Rotaract club, and 5 Interact clubs here. And it's very different, our club, than the other clubs. They have a different culture, but it's a fun culture they all have. And our culture at our club is very much about a family, and we work hard. When someone has a service project or a desire to conquer the world in whatever area it might be, we all support and band together and are part of that initiative.
Great, thank you. And so Mary was wondering if anyone has, or I guess any club has adjusted their dues to reflect lower costs.
I have heard many clubs have reduced the and not included meal fees, so those have been taken out. And some have said if you'd like to continue with meal fees, if you'd like to donate to the Rotary Foundation, etc. I am not aware of, because every club is different. I can share with you, I've got clubs here that start at $300 a year, that I have a club that's up to $1,600 a year. So I'm not aware right now of clubs that have made substantial changes other than the meals at this time. One of the things that I think is important though with this question is we do need to entertain that discussion. We do need to talk a little bit about that and dive deeper to what works for our members. Because we know that people have had significant change through COVID, and as we're reshaping, what will be the best for our people in the end. And I don't know if everyone is going to be able to join and go back at that level or come back at the level of those high fees. So we have heard in the past that people left Rotary because of fees. So I think this is our time now to really dive into that as clubs and really have some conversations with our people about what works for them and what do we need to be sustainable as a club. What is our cost to do business and what do we need to be sustainable?
So Eckert is saying, one of the challenges of moving to a technological platform is the loss of fellowship. We lose the opportunity for informal, casual conversation. Any thoughts on what we can do in this regard when opportunity to meet in person is diminished?
So one of the things that, and again, I'm going to come back to our club because we've started this, excuse me, is when we don't have a speaker, we don't have someone there to present, we do a whole round table. So there could be 40 of us on, and everyone gets the chance not to talk about Rotary, but to say, how was their week? How are they doing? How is work? How's their family? Well, it's really interesting, some of the conversations coming out. One of our members 2 weeks ago started to cry. And she said, you know what, I'm really struggling with COVID. I'm really hurting right now. And she said, I've had mental health challenges in the past and it's coming out right now. And so immediately, all of us band together to support her and to give her the moral support that we hope that help her to move her through this. And so with sharing, taking that time to have no agenda at a meeting, maybe it's a time you bring a glass of wine in, if it's an evening meeting or so, and just share, or a coffee or a tea. One of the things that I'm also doing at the district level as well is I'm hosting coffee talks, and it's Connect Over Coffee with Governor Tracey. And it's just a wonderful platform once a week. I have a guest speaker that joins me. And so we've brought in speakers from around the world to come in and chat. And it's a way just to have a conversation. And it's at an equal platform and a very organic conversation. And I'm finding that our members from our district are really desiring for that. It's part of that fellowship, that friendship, and it's giving us a chance to connect even at a district-wide level through doing the coffee talks. So I think what's really important for all of us is not to lose sight that we're all in this together, and we're better together when we can connect and support each other and have those really important conversations. Now I'm going to just on a personal level also share, to maintain that fellowship, I mentioned the phone call earlier. So if somebody isn't there, it is important to call them to make sure they're okay. That voice could change that person's day immensely.
Thank you for that. And so the chat is quite lively. There's a lot of, I guess, discussion around what's working well for them. So I'll just kind of go over it and then you can chime in where you like. So virtual happy hours are a thing for a lot of clubs. And clubs have been either starting their meetings half an hour early or half an hour after to allow for that virtual fellowship. I will ask if anyone else has any questions to ask for Tracey, to ask them now, because then we can move along, because Dennis has a few things to present.
I want to commend you, all of you, for taking the virtual platform and doing what you're doing. I'm just quickly looking at the comments on the side here, Phoenix, and to see, like, guess who's coming to dinner, doing a social, playing games, the happy hour, a fires, opportunities of bringing a fireside online. The one piece that continues also to come up that I do want to, come back to, and I mentioned in my presentation, is service. We can do a lot of service online, and we can also come together online and talk about the service and find the priorities that are important. Having those conversations right now, because we know people desire right now to give and to do more. It's an automatic reflex when there's an emergency or there's an urgent item to give back more in service. And so continuing to incubate and talk about those service options too as well, because we know that people join Rotary, but they stay in Rotary because of our values and our trust, because of our fellowship, and because of service. So as we continue to be online and connect, continue to bring service into the conversation. Maybe everybody's writing thank you cards out. Those thank you cards, when you deliver them to the first responders or to the beautiful people that are working in the grocery stores or now in the restaurants that are being opened up, you're overwhelmed, absolutely overwhelmed on ways that they are being appreciated, because they're being appreciated and they're working hard for us. Their lives have changed too as well, and it could be anyone that's here on the call tonight too as well that's working through that. I do see a question around volunteerism. So this is my background in community capacity building and thinking about the restrictions. I say to you right now, as you've got many organizations you've worked with over the years, this is your time to have a conversation with them and say, we recognize we're in COVID right now, and we have isolation requirements, puts limitations on us. But we have people that are in their homes. What do you need? Do you need phone calls done? Do you need administrative work help being managed? Do you need food to be collected and we can do an online food bank drive for you? Do you have seniors that are in isolation that need to be connected with right now? We know right now our seniors population as well is challenged and having some concerns over COVID because they can't see their family. It might be through a glass or through, a window, but they can't see their family right now. So one of the things that one club is doing is they connected with a seniors lodge, and it was a lodge that they would go and do volunteer work at. This lodge, the residents are responsible to do their own laundry. They can't get out now to do their laundry. They're in the facility. So the Rotarians, based on all the essentials of masks and all of the necessary PPE, they are going to the lodge. The lodge will leave the laundry outside of the door, and the Rotarians are picking up the laundry, taking the laundry home, using the right practices to ensure not to have any concerns around COVID and health practices. And then they're doing the laundry and bringing it back to the seniors because they don't have a capacity right now to do it. Another club that I know is also working with, is an Alberta club. They're working with Alberta Health Services on ways that they can get food to the homeless. So they've been working with the health inspectors and also with the Alberta Health Services departments to be able to cook food at home. It can only be in small requirements in Alberta. I don't know BC, I can't speak to that, but there's small amounts that can be done and they can be frozen. They have to be frozen. And then they are delivering frozen meals through the right protection and under the Alberta Health Services requirements to the organizations that are serving our homeless population. And it's a way to ensure that our most vulnerable are being served at this time. But you find out those ideas by talking to the groups that you've been supporting. All of you have been involved with projects within your communities. You have organizations that are on the ground working hard. They know what they need. And by having an equal platform of ask, let them know you're available, they will identify needs for you. And I know that from my work. because I deal with it every day. And it's strong, what's needed right now. And as I mentioned earlier, we are going to see that need increase. So it's time to be getting ready for it right now.
Great, thank you. And so we have one last question to wrap things up. Stephanie would like to know what some examples of online service are.
So as I mentioned in my presentation, sewing. We see a whole group of beautiful, beautiful volunteers coming together that are sewing masks right now. That's one example. So online of doing masks. So that, and those masks then are being delivered out to necessary organizations. We've also as well seen sewing for our Days for Girls. And then those are they'll be packaged up and will be sent overseas to communities that are in need, and to ensure that the young ladies have their feminine hygiene products and those packages available to them. Other ways as well is also maybe an organization needs some help with some bookkeeping or with some online, maybe there's some work that can be done with doing website development, where maybe you have that capacity, you can do so. Ask the people, ask the people what they need and how you can help them, because what we're seeing is literally Zoom meetings set up, and they're set up on desks and people are working and doing their things so that they're all doing it collectively together, but they're to help to support and to do things that will help their communities. But again, as I say, the big part is ask. I can't share enough of that. I'm actually a Jack Hanfield facilitator, and Jack taught us as one of the principles, ask, ask, ask.
Great, thank you so much for answering everyone's questions. We're going to pass it over to Dennis and then Rod, and then we will go back to Jim if you want to explain more about your car rally.
Thanks, Phoenix. Tracey, it's been really a pleasure to have you with us and to have you share some of your passion and your creativity when it comes to dealing with innovation in our clubs. I think you've stirred a lot of interest here because people are asking a lot of questions or offering input. So for those of you that want to get some responses, for instance, somebody asked, what is a guess who's not coming to dinner? You can simply put that down or your suggestions down and send them to me. And what I'm going to do is send out some regular correspondence to the club membership chairs. And I would like to share some of the things you're doing in your club right now to enrich the fellowship, in particular, the point Eckhart made. What are you doing to make that personal contact a little richer through this particular time period? So if you want to send those, I'll send them out and then you can share them with your clubs. So thanks again, Tracey. Next week, we're going to do another one of these, and it will be focused on mentorship. And mentorship is a topic I've heard about for years in Rotary, but I don't think we've ever really walked the talk as a district in this regard. So I did a little research, and I found out some clubs are dabbling in mentorship, but the Arlington Rotary Club is walking the talk. And so Assistant Governor Dave Duskin, along with Joel Barrett and some other people from their club, are going to come on next week, and they're going to talk to us about the ins and outs of an effective mentorship program, which will strengthen your membership as well. I'm negotiating with Phoenix here, whom I also want to thank for being our quarterback tonight, for Phoenix to come on in a couple of weeks with some of her Rotaract crew. And we will talk about the Rotary Club connection, what we can do to enrich our connection with Rotaract and what Rotaract can do to enrich their connection with us. And there are some clubs that do now really good outreach with Rotaract, and we'll have some of those people come and talk as well. So I'm not sure on the date of that one, but I think it's coming up probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks. We'll have to see what Rod has in mind with his other training. So thank you, Phoenix. Thank you, Tracey. Thank you all for being here. And Rod, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, Dennis. And it certainly is a pleasure, Tracey, to have you join us this evening. As you mentioned earlier, I was part of working with you as you were training to become a governor. And that's one of the great pleasures of being a past district governor, is working at the zone level with outstanding leaders such as you. So thank you for showing that leadership for us tonight. For the remainder of you on the call, Dennis has outlined a future for additional training